Kara Shalom. Welcome to Heinrich Edgecome Art. Today we are going to have a look at how to paint this feather. And if you like it, please subscribe and let us know what you think in the comments. So the materials used are listed in the description below. And we also used a little bit of mixed media, so have your pastels ready, as well as a little bit of salt. And we're going to do some bouquet work at the end. So we only have two colors, Moonglow and Aqua Green. And on the face of it, it looks, how are these two things going to make a feather? Well, watch and learn. And when you start with a feather, take your time, pause the video, draw your feather out. You don't have to be very precise. It can be, again, a quite random shape that you give it. It doesn't have to be exact in any way. When you start, make sure that you leave the shaft in the middle white. Don't paint there. It is important to keep that little bit of light in your feather, and we will show you what we're going to do with it a little bit later on. So add a little bit of Moonglow, add a little bit of the Aqua Green, mix the colors on the paper, and don't just use one color in one place. You will see the more that you mix the two colors, the more interesting this feather is going to turn out. So use the tip of the brush mostly. And you can also use a brush with a very fine point to do the little bit of hatching that you're going to have there. The closer to the shaft, the feather is going to be darker, and some of the tips will be dark and some of them will be light. That will give you a nice variation and it will give your feather shape. So you're basically doing negative painting here. And try to keep as much of white, preserve as much of the white of the paper as possible. You are going to layer it later on, but to start with, you can use the very weak paint, little bit of Moonglow, little bit of the Aqua Green, and vary the shades, vary the tones in the color, so that when you do your next layer, you don't have to labor so much. So why feathers? Well, feathers for us, feathers have meaning. They have lots of meaning for us. There's a saying that says, feathers appear when angels are near. And we don't necessarily believe that specifically, but it does symbolize protection for us, tranquility, and truth and justice. So feathers are not just something that we find on a bird. Feathers have a meaning for us. For us from the Bible, Psalm 91 tells us that God protects us and He keeps us under His wings. So a feather in that case is special for us. Like I said, it's a symbol of protection. It's a symbol of justice, purity, and new beginnings and rebirth. So at the end of this whole painting, you will see that the background looks so chaotic. And then you have this beautiful, quiet feather in the middle. And that just brings the whole thing together. Amidst all of the chaos of our lives, there's something that can give us peace. And there's something that will make us rest. And that's what this feather means to us in this painting. So if you use the very fine tip of the brush, you can do hatching there, and especially for the bottom part of the feather, you can use it to make it real fluffy. There are solid parts in the feather where the feathers are close together, and then you get parts in the feather where it is actually spread out. So that's what you use the hatching for, to show that spreading out. Like I said earlier, the middle of the feather, close to the shaft, you will make it a little bit darker. and then closer to the edges, you will have more light. So different color feathers have actually got different meanings for people. White feathers, pure white feathers, they mean purity or divine guidance, or even in some cultures, they mean messages from loved ones and things like that. And then if you go to black feathers, they symbolize protection or mystery or spiritual strength. Now, gray feathers again, they give us the idea of balance, neutrality, and compromise. Well, we've allowed the feather to dry completely now, and now you can start with your second layer. Here is where you are going to define the parts of the feather or the smaller shafts on the sides a little bit more, and add a little bit more darkness to shape the parts of the feather where it makes clumps, because then it will make it look more natural. So we were talking about the different colors of feathers. Blue feathers, they represent apparently wisdom and blessings. And then you have red ones. Obviously red is the color of passion and vitality and courage. And green feathers you can have for growth, abundance, healing, things like that. And then if you think of a budgie, you think it's just singing, it's beautiful, there's so much joy there. And yellow feathers actually do represent joy, creativity, and optimism. So feathers are not just something that you find on a bird. If you really look at them, if you study them, if you pay attention to the feathers that you see around you on the ground and floating down from a tree when you have finches like we have. Oh my goodness, they are so loud and noisy, but they are so interesting to watch. And then when their feathers drift down from the tree, it is so amazing to see the different colors and shapes that they actually have. So you can see here Heinrich is now starting to darken the areas around the white shaft, preserve the white of the shaft, and the edges of the feather, every now and again, every here and there, he keeps it lighter or he makes it a little bit darker. And all of this is to give dimension and variety to your feather. The grayish undertone of the moon glow gives your feather a softness, and then the blue-green of the aqua gives you that almost a cold feeling, but it also brings a lot of light to it. So again, you had to let your feather dry properly, really, really dry this time, and then you can wet the whole background of the paper. Now, when you do this type of negative painting, kind of where you paint the object first and then wet it, you have to make sure that your element is very, very dry. So he uses a nice soft brush and he is putting in some pure aqua green now. Now it's okay to just add it randomly. Don't try to paint in a certain direction. We want this to look chaotic because we want to emphasize the tranquility of the feather. So the color is all over the place and you can make it darker and lighter, and it really doesn't matter if it flows into the feather because the feather already has some of the blue in it. So the colors will simply complement each other or carry each other, and it will help the feather stand out. So add your aqua green all around the feather and try to add a little bit more here and there, a little bit less in other places, so that there's variety, so that it is not a uniform flat wash. This one is going to turn out to be a chaotic wash. So let's just add it, use your strokes up and down, use it from left to right, as long as you add your color randomly. The blue that he adds there in the feather is just to show the background shining through. And to me, it looks like a feather that's lying on a pond of water. And that's why the blue shines through. Now, you can interpret the composition as in any which way you want. So for me, like I said, it feels like it's lying on a pool of water. So you can also add some of the moon glow there. That just gives variety to your background. Be careful not to add too much, because you still want the blue to be really more prominent, because that will help the feather to stand out. Now you have to add your pigment a little bit stronger than what you had previously, because you are also going to add salt just now. And for the salt to work, you have to have a lot of pigment, because the salt is going to push the pigment in all directions. So make sure that the paper is not too wet. If you look at it, then the sheen should be just coming off the wetness, so it doesn't shine anymore. And then in this case, Heinrich was really, really liberal with the salt. So he sprinkled the salt all around the feather, and then you must wait for it to dry properly. And look at that. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? The way that the salt has pushed the paint in all different directions. Now you can see what I mean when I say it looks chaotic. There's dark and light, and it is moving. The background is moving in all different directions. So make sure that you wipe off all the salt residue, and then you can use your ochre pastel pencil, or if you don't have a pastel, you can actually mix a little bit of ochre paint and then add some of the yellow, some of the ochre to the feather to give a little bit of a different hue, a different light in it. Be careful not to do it too much, and be careful not to come too close to the shaft, because the shaft area, the shaft itself must stay white, but right next to it, it must stay dark to give you that depth and dimension. So he's using the ochre here to add a little bit of light there. And then he's going to use the white pastel at the tips of the feathers also to bring back a little bit of the light that was lost when he added the second layer. And here again, don't do it too much. You can use a light hand here, but you do need to add some white to bring the variety and life back into your feather. And then finally he's going to use the black one, the black pastel. It's called carbon black, and that is to enhance the line next to the shaft, so that your shaft really, really pops, and so that you have that, it looks like it's folding in onto the shaft, all the little feathers. And then the next step, just to enhance that idea of chaos and movement and beauty, actually, is going to start with bokeh. Now, we're not going to talk a lot about the bokeh. We've done bouquets a lot of times. He's using a small stencil brush. You make circular movements with a wet brush and then dip with a paper towel to lift the excess paint. If you want to know more about the bokeh, please have a look at the channel. There's a whole playlist on bokeh and how to do that and all the different effects that you can get with the bokeh. So in this one, he's just going to make a few bokeh circles, and that's just to enhance the idea, one, of the chaos behind this tranquil feather, and two, just to bring back a little bit of light as well. You can make the bokeh circles anywhere you like. I always say you can make them bigger, smaller, you can overlap them, you can let them touch. The choice is yours and the possibilities are endless. But be very careful not to make too many circles on this specific background because the background is already this busy. If you make too many bokeh circles, it will just throw the whole balance off. It's a little bit more difficult to make the bokeh once you've put the salt on, because the salt kind of, I don't know, it binds the paint in a way. I don't know how it works, but it is sometimes difficult to make bokeh on top of the salt. But it makes it interesting. Make sure that you rinse the brush every time, because also there's a little bit of salt residue still, and it just spreads everywhere if you use the same brush all the time. And then, of course, it won't be Heinrich if there isn't a little bit of splattering. And for me, again, the splattering gives you that idea of amongst the tranquility, amongst the light, there will be dark spots. But if you hold on to what makes you happy, then the dark spots won't matter. So there is our tranquil feather in our chaotic background. Please like, subscribe, and give us a comment. And thank you so much for watching. Vaya con Dios.